Okay, welcome back, listeners. It's been a couple of weeks, a short spell since we've spoken to you last time. So let's just recap, Money Shot, on a couple of good weeks of racing. 2 weeks ago, you were down at the New Plymouth meeting, and New York Minute was there, and a bit of an inside bias there seemed to be all day.
Well, I have to say, Neil, I knew I was in big trouble with our chocolate fish bet with the New York Minute and Deals and Heels bet. One, the bias of the inside. Two, when the rain never came for Deals and Heels. It was a tough testing track, and a horse that has been likened to a tractor, just bulldozing its way through the mud. New York Minute was way too good in the Opunake Cup, and good to see local connections getting a big race on their home track. And then the following Saturday, the same stable just rolled out another horse who didn't win at New Plymouth that day, got beaten and run second. But Rodrigo comes out the following week and wins the Taumarunui Cup.
Yeah, Bridget Grills too. Perfect ride, 3 wide with cover in the right spot. Got out and, I thought on the turn he was going to win this quite easily, but the other two fought back in the inner. Maybe just that outside did help, but he fought like a tiger. And one lucky pick 6 punter, I think, anchored him. So well done to that chap or lady. And down on the races on Wednesday, we were out there, and you were right with the forecast, and it was a nice day, really good day. Not a big crowd, but how was the turnover?
Oh, it was just about standard for a midweek Wednesday. Yep, on a par with most of our metrics and what we compare ourselves against. So it was all good. Good to have you along as a sponsor, Neil, giving some good of all that hard-earned money you've won on the pump back to the industry. That's what we like to see.
Yeah. It was a really good day. We had about 10 people at the table there, and it's we'll put in some money each and doubled our money on a sort of a little syndicate bets throughout the day, and we really had an enjoyable day. So if someone's thinking of sponsoring a race at Tauranga, I can thoroughly recommend it. They look after you, and that balcony in that room is just the best place in the country, I reckon, to bet, have a meal and watch races. Just terrific. So thumbs up to the club there. And,
we won't give away too much of our brickbats in race 4, but we'll touch on one aspect of that meeting that certainly raised my eyebrows a little bit.
Okay. And nothing else? Sports.
You got to tell the listeners, how was your... you had to freshen up, you had a week away, you went to the spelling paddock, but did you get up to anything exciting in your breakaway, Neil?
Actually went to the Trentham races for a couple of races.
Did you?
Yeah, it was cold all there, but no, it was quite good, but no, I had a good break, recharged the batteries, caught up with our daughter and her partner, and they actually came up for the races the other day, and they really enjoyed themselves. Not really racing enthusiasts, but they really enjoyed the day. So, and it's probably good if punters like ourselves have been around a while. If you can get some friends coming along to the races and get a table and make it a really enjoyable experience, it can lead to more people getting involved in horses and betting and just enjoying the atmosphere of going to the races on a good day out. Nothing else you want to mention before we end the part?
No, we'll kick on with our preview of the Coral Steeplechase in the Winter Cup, shall we?
Couple of good races.
Part 2 coming up. The 2 thoroughbred meetings in the country tomorrow, Te Rapa and Riccarton. Main meeting being Riccarton, and Neil, that's where we'll focus our attention. Starting with race 5, the Coral Steeplechase. Small but pretty slick field of jumpers. You've got the Big Opal heading up the market at 3:30, just in front of impressive last up winner Wise Men Say at 3:50.
Yeah, I remember last year we were both pretty keen on the Big Opal, weren't we? And he did win well and jumped well all the way to him, and it's just too tough. And he is going for a hat trick. He won it the previous year as well. So, and that track is a slow 9, the course proper, but it always tends to play faster, doesn't it, on the steeplechase course, which will suit him more than a horse like Wise Men Say. So for that reason, and the weight difference, 3.5 kgs, I'm going the Big Opal over probably Amanud Lad. I think it's just a nice race for him too, with Aaron Kuru on. You agree?
Yeah, I can't disagree. You'd assume Wise Men Say and Amanud Lad, they'll be much better suited to the Grand National Opal next Saturday,
Yeah.
whereas I think the last couple of years the Big Opal's found that distance just beyond it. So this is probably his, shall we say, grand final in some way. So you wouldn't be surprised to see the Big Opal win with former top flat rider Buddy Lamis in the saddle.
Yeah. Always a good race to watch too, isn't it? Love those jumps there, and Buddy Lamis out in front, giving them every
They have to be jumped, don't they, Rickerton? You have to be a jumper. The big, intimidating fences, that's for sure.
Yeah, a bit different from Australia, aren't they? It'll be skip.
Yeah, no upside down toothbrushes there.
That's dead right. Yeah.
What about the Winter Cup, Neil? The feature flat race over the mile, race 8 at 3:30. Time-honoured race, and last year's winner Nashville heads up the field, but very open field with equal favourites. Oh no, Red's here at 5:50, just ahead of She's Poppy and Dares at 6. But I think you've got one a little bit outside the square.
Yeah, I've been going through this, and I did like She's Poppy initially. You know, she can reel off a really fast last 200 metres. I've done her sectionals and wet tracks before, and nearly always the fastest or close to the fastest last 200 metres. So if they do go hard and she gets pretty wide with cover and gets out in time, she's the one to beat. But at 6 and 2, I couldn't back her at that price, but I can back a horse called Strolling Vagabond at $18 and $5.50 for two reasons. One is he beat Not a Bad Horse in Rodrigo last start at New Plymouth. Granted, Lisa Allpress got against the fence, was the right place to be, but they went really hard up front, and he was just, or she was just too strong for Rodrigo, and he came out and won obviously last week, so that franks the form. Plus it's drawn well and it can jump the gates and get into a nice handy position, which could be the place to be despite the big field on Saturday. So at those odds, 18 and 550, but I do have Des in the futures bet. I backed it before Trentham, so just a small bet, nothing major, but those are the two I'll be cheering for. What do you reckon?
Very open race. I'll throw something out that I think about 18 months ago I said the horse should be retired. And he's come out and made a big liar of me since by winning a few feature races, including this race last year.
Yeah.
So I'll jump back on the Nashville bandwagon to make it 2 Winter Cups in a row. Currently at $16 as well, and $4.80 for the place. So drawn wide, but just sit back and come with one run down the outside would be the instructions you would imagine.
I think that's a pretty fair chocolate fish bet.
Strolling Vagabond against Nashville? Go on then.
You're on? Okay, that's good.
All right, we'll do that.
I'll be in front
We'll do that.
till the last 100 metres, then I'll be looking out for where those green and yellow colours will be coming from. So, good race, and some good racing at Rickerton on Saturday. Some good jumps and flat races. A few Northern Invaders coming down. They look really well placed. And at Te Rapa, we've got Julius reappearing. $2.
Yeah, the big boy Julius, having this run before his Foxbridge and then Tarzino assault, so he looks hard to beat at $2. He's been working pretty well, and I thought that race 3 had a bit of class to it. Cyber Attack, Von Trapp, very impressive on debut, and a few first starters with a bit of a rap, being Tiny Terror and Bodyvale's half-brother, Lord Arthur.
Yes, and he looked good at the trials too, drawn one. The only thing is, as you know, a lot of punters are aware of now, is that sand flicking back in the horses' faces. Nearly every trainer who's had horses racing there has mentioned to me the horses are coming back, some not well at all, so and it'll put horses off the pace. You just don't know. So I'll be looking for front runners tomorrow. And I think Von Trapp, Tiny Terror be out in front, and Lord Arthur trading. Those three do look the three. Cyber Attack probably second outer, but Von Trapp, gee, that was really impressive at Ruakaka, and I can see him hunting out, leading, and the inside's okay. He should have won. I see he's been punted in from 280 to 260 already, so that'll be good. Rightio, so chocolate fish we got there with those two, and there's a couple on Aussie too. Let's quickly have a look at those, mention those. The mare that used to race over here is in race 8. It's called the Lord Mare. Sam Weatherly's on, getting 2 kgs off. It's trialled nicely. It's come in from, I think it was $12 when it opened, into $9.50 now, so that could be a little sneaky over in Randwick. Looking forward to that. Okay, back with part 3 in a moment. Let's see if the money shot can back up from the West a couple of weeks ago. Okay, money shot. A couple of weeks ago, you gave us the 100% evidence why the West would cover that point start, and it was just never in doubt. Have you got something?
Yeah, they won the game pretty convincingly as well. So that was against the Rabbitohs, and we're tipping against the Rabbitohs again this week, Neil. They take on Melbourne tonight, Friday night, 9:55 kickoff. I've dug into the stats vault and I've come out with a few pearlers because I know you like these stats.
Right.
Melbourne and South have played 28 times in their history.
Yeah.
Melbourne have won 24 of 28, including 19 of the last 21 games.
Sure.
And when Melbourne, still got a bit of a winter bot. When Melbourne are favoured to win by less than a try, so the point start being basically less than 4, which it is tonight at 2.5. They've covered that start 13 times in their last 20 goes, so 65% record.
Yep.
At $1.87, Melbourne minus 2.5. Good bet tonight to add another defeat to the Rabbitohs, who were very lucky to get out of jail last week against the Eels. So I think Rabbits are on decline, Melbourne steady as she goes, and they will be winning tonight and covering that 2.5 point start. And then we can multi all those winnings into the Super Rugby final tomorrow night. No surprise what we're tipping here, Crusaders. I don't think I've seen a team play as well as they did last week. They were just way too clinical, and they'll be just the same, I imagine, against the Lions, and they will be covering 18.5 points quite easily. I would have thought it would be probably a 25 to 30 point victory would be my prediction. So option 2003, the point start there, Crusaders minus 18.5 at $1.87. That's the money shot multi of the weekend.
How many points did the Crusaders beat the Hurricanes by last week?
Well, there was that late try, so it got to within 14, wasn't it? 14 or 12? 14, I think it was. But they conceded that late try, if you recall, basically right on the buzzer. But, yeah, I just can't see that second half, the travel factor. No team. We've seen the stats. Crusaders have won every single home playoff game they've played. No teams come from South Africa to win a final in New Zealand, and none have even really looked that close to winning. So I think the Chiefs beat the Sharks by 30 odd in 2012. The Hurricanes beat the Lions by 20 odd in 2016. So yeah, it's pretty ominous signs, I'd suggest, for all Lions supporters.
Yes. Okay. No, it looks like a really good multi. The Warriors game. Crikey.
Is there a spare seat next to you, Neil?
I think before you had to pay to get on the bandwagon, now they're paying you to come on the bandwagon. It's just crazy. So,
they're an up and down team, aren't they? Unbelievably so. They look absolute rock stars one week and then lose to a team like the Gold Coast the following week and just dropping off tackles like they just went in it.
It's just amazing how much different they are from that earlier period of the season. Just as you say, just dropping off tackles they were getting in the first few games. So it's that sport, I suppose. Maybe it's a head thing. Well, it's got to be a head thing. If you can't make tackles, you just get in, tackle properly. One of the times they got through, they were both going high. Just ridiculous going high at that grade. Look, they run the legs. Basic stuff, isn't it, really? Anyway, no, we'll just ignore the Warriors game. Back St George with the point start if you don't have a bet, but I just can't see them winning another game at this stage of the comp. Anyway, my brother's keen for a top 8 place, but I think he's dreaming.
Tell him he's dreaming.
He's dreaming. We all were at the start. Anyway, right, okay.
Should we give away a nice prize and throw a few brickbats and bouquets out there in part 4, shall we, Neil?
Yeah, we've got a couple lined up, so looking forward to that. Back in a sec. Okay, back with part 4. We've got a few little juicy bits here. Money shot. There's a couple of things been annoying you. What are they?
There have been. Well, kick off. First thing, this new TAB initiative promoting and trying to build a profile about this new gun tipster they've got called the Shark. Well, I think anyone with half a brain can work out after a week or two of this that the Shark
I agree that they should rename it the Octopus because he's sort of touching so many sports and betting avenues. If it was what sport, say rugby or league, in one area of sport, yes, that would be great. Now, someone like yourself, you used to be on Trackside Radar, and there's a big following there. And someone like the Steel Balls, who's well known throughout the punting community, someone with some credibility to get on there, and people would listen to them. So,
I think they're trying to replicate a few of their competitors in Australia that kind of have people. I think one's got the Wolf, so they're trying to come up with this. But to expect any half-brained person to think they're going to follow someone's tips on the basis that 1 minute they're tipping South Island Harness, the next minute they're tipping Australian Greyhounds, the next minute they're tipping American baseball or whatever it is, right across literally every betting option available to mankind. It's just embarrassing. The other thing, Neil, we touched on it earlier. So Tauranga on Wednesday, pentrometer reading came out, and you walked the track and you saw the pentrometer being done was clearly a heavy 11. It was in that bracket. One race is run where the timing system had to be, it was a manual time, and the Stipes make a decision to upgrade it to a heavy 10. Now, no one went and did a pentrometer again, did they, after that? It wasn't a hot, sunny day where you'd be obvious drying. It just seemed a bit crazy. And then, to add insult to injury, you then retimed race one, and the time was about, 6/10th of a second slower anyway, which probably, if they knew that, they wouldn't have upgraded it. So it's confusing to punters, I would have thought.
It is. It was hand timed. I didn't announce it on course, so the stewards would have known it was hand timed and could be incorrect, which it was. So that needs to be taken into account. But it was definitely a heavy 11 when I walked it and pushed on my stickometer on the Tuesday afternoon. So anyway, it is confusing for punters, especially after one race with no rain or no obvious.
I'll tell you what else is confusing for punters.
Yep.
You go into the results section of the New Zealand Racing website, and you click on June 23rd Tauranga.
Doing it now. Yeah.
And you're looking at the results, and you can see there all the results come up, and it said the weather was fine, the rail was in the true, and then the going was a heavy 11. And then when you click in the stewards report, the stewards say it was a heavy 10, which it was a heavy 10. So conflicting information again. It's pretty poor in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's information that punters need to have correct, aren't they? And
well, if you're reviewing that meeting, you would go look back and go, oh, yeah, that was a heavy 11.
Yeah.
Based on that website, and yet it was a heavy 10. Anyway, we could go on about that. You've got something you want to throw out there, one of your little pet hates as well, while we're getting these off our chest today, Neil?
Why not? Start of the season, and it's something that can be done for no cost, and it would help a lot of punters, I feel, especially with Rickton coming up with 3 days this week. It's the showing of the horses running past the post after a race is run. Now you can see horses that are maybe running over 1,200 metres, like Scapolo tomorrow. He's had a 1,200 metre race, and he'll be running on well, but every time they cut straight to the winner as soon as the last horse has gone past the post, and you can't see horses running on after the finish. So it costs nothing, and the frustrating thing is some tracks do it, like Te Rapa will do it tomorrow. They'll show the last 200 metres past the post. You can see horses who are still steaming past or just flopping in after the post. It's good information, so hopefully they'll do that this week for punters, but I can't see it happening somehow. But what else? I had the Form Pro Amazing Chase last week finished off, and good feedback from that. It's a good concept, especially for the dogs, and a bit of rain came mid-meeting through the match-ups, but it was a good day of racing and punting. And 2 weeks ago, the question was, what was the horse that won the 3 Opunake Cups in a row, was it?
Yep, in a row, back in the early 2000s, and we had quite a few entries, correct, was it?
7. Had 7 in the end.
7 7, people smart enough to know it was Irish Rover,
Yeah.
trained by Eddie Carson at Trentham, who won those 3 Opunake Cups. And just for good measure, Eddie came out and won a 4th one with Hamilton Road the following year. So do I need to pick a number between 1 and 7?
1 and 7.
You got them all lined up there.
Lined up.
Why don't we go 7?
7, oh. Brian L. You'll be happy.
Brian L. Well done, Brian.
He's a current subscriber. I'll add that to your sub. Put it down. A free month sub to Form Pro. And this week's question, another free month to Form Pro, which I've been able to a lot more time to the trials and reviewing races, especially with a bit of tracks coming up now. So subscribers and users can expect a lot more in-depth previews of races. So look forward to that. So what's this week's question going to be?
Well, it was a bit ironic, wasn't it? Was it 3 weeks ago we asked the question about Gatcombe's Pride winning over the winter carnival, and then we asked it on the Friday, and then on the Monday his trainer Don Grubb passed away, which was a bit sort of spooky.
It was,
So we're going to stick with the Don Grubb connection and the Winter Cup. And Don trained the winner of a Winter Cup in the 1980s, 1985 to be precise, ridden by your favourite jockey Neil David Walsh. So this one will probably test the memory banks of some of our listeners, but we need to know the name of the horse Don Grubb trained David Walsh rode to win the 1985 Winter Cup.
Yep, and just 027 352 6402. Text me or formpro@formpro.co.nz. Email me by 9 p.m. Monday night, and you would go in the draw for a month's free sub to Form Pro. Right, you going to Te Rapa races tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going for a look. Obviously, I think most people are aware of the connection we have with race 2, number 1, BT Junior. She's the rank outsider. Do you want to have a chocolate fish bet, Neil? BT Junior versus the ambulance. I'll take BT.
Yeah.
Oh, he's ranked 9 out of 9 according to the odds, but I'll tell you, he won't run last. He'll beat a few home. I'm not saying back, but he's going nicely, well short of his best, but nice to see him back on the track after about a 9-month absence.
Yeah, too right. And his target's the Cup again, is it?
No, won't be going to Riccarton this year. Let's just stay closer to home and just see what comes about. So no specific target. So we'll just play it by ear.
Yes.
But yeah, good to see him back anyway. I know every owner has a sentimental attachment to their horses, and especially ones like him that have given us a few thrills over the years.
Yeah, true right. And looking forward to seeing how you enjoy the meeting tomorrow and next week when we review it. So everyone have a good week of punting, and get onto that sports multi. I'll be having a good crack at that. Looks like it's a tough day of punting tomorrow actually, so that sports multi will do me nicely. And I've got a couple of good roughies sorted out for tomorrow. I was strolling Vagabond and a couple at Te Rapa that I think will lead and pay good money. Anyway, good punting everybody. Have a good weekend, Money Shot. And
you too, Neil.
Yep, enjoy yourselves.